Every year, the 3rd of May is a date which celebrates the fundamental principles of press freedom, to evaluate press freedom around the world, to defend the media from attacks on their independence, and to pay tributes to journalists who have lost their lives in the exercise of their profession. World Press Freedom Day was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in 1993 following a recommendation adopted at the 26th session of UNESCO's General Conference in 1991. The theme for the year 2021 World Press Freedom Day is Information as a Public Good. This poses the question of the impacts of social media in the dissemination of verified information to the public.
Press freedom is relative. In the sense that where your right ends, that's where the rights of others begins. But clearly, the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution, has defined the role of the media. The role of media, where we must ensure that we make government accountable. And so, to make government accountable in the area of politics, in the areas of fight against terrorism and corruption, has been a huge challenge. But we have to stay the course to continue to make government accountable for whatever they are doing in all these three spheres. But while we are doing this, we must ensure that we verify the sources of information and ensure that those information are reliable. And for public good and for public interest, we need to push out some of this information. Any information we think that aggravates, turns to pember disunity, we just have to hazard it, yes, and be very careful in putting some of these things out.
For the public, everyone has a right, everyone has a role in ensuring that we have verified information. It starts with you ensuring that you don't pass wrong information. And when you receive one, you screen it, you ensure that it's the right one before you send it to anyone. You ensure that, because at the end of the day, if you endanger people with information that is not right, you may be endangering people's life with this kind of information. And that's why we keep saying that, like the theme of this year, that information should be for public good.
Today, World Press Freedom Day, I think it's very important for those in the media to be extremely careful to verify instant messages on the social media, because some of these videos that have been shared, this audio that have been shared, some of them are not real, and it also put to questions the credibility of the source. So it's important for media organizations to, as much as possible, try to verify any instant messages on social media.
This International Day serves as an occasion to inform citizens of violations of press freedom, a reminder that in dozens of countries around the world, publications are censored, fined, suspended, and closed down. But what roles can the general public play in the quest for verified information?
Indeed, I think that the theme for this year's World Press Freedom Day, which is information as public good, is very apt at a time when we have a lot of misinformation and disinformation in our society, and we need verified information. Unfortunately, instant messaging has a lot of negative effect because it's being misused. It should be an advantage, or it's being misused. And so you have a situation where people are forwarding information that are not verified, and we are misinforming the people. So it's important that we ensure that this is properly used for the purpose it is meant for. When people get information, they should verify before they send. They should be sure that it's coming from the right source, so that they don't end up misinforming the people.
Now, the other one is, how the public can assist us in, verifying information. What they should do is that the public, remember, the public wants to get information as to the media, must also ensure that that information is credible and it can be easily verified from anywhere. Once they can be able to do that on their own, then when they pass this to us, we also need to now do a double check. We need to fast check some of those information that are sent into us. That is very, very important.
With reports of journalists editors and publishers harassed, attacked, detained, and even murdered. This brings to mind the discourse for more safety measures for media professionals in the line of duty.
For the protection of journalists, if we are going to have freedom, we need to protect them and start from their organization. Companies should provide the right environment, they should provide insurance, they should guarantee their safety. Because when people don't have their safety guarantee, they don't want to go all out to perform their duties. So this is very important that we ensure that the safety of journalists so that their rights can be.
Every journalist must be very careful of his safety. So when you are going to cover an assignment, make sure that everybody knows you're going to where you are going and what happens at that event. Also, let your colleagues let them know. On your return, if you also engage some other challenges, let everybody know. And another thing you need to do is that always avoid where there are crises. When you want to do your recording and you know the area is volatile, go to a safe place and do your interviews there, or take your shot from there. Avoid to be at the center of the crisis at all times. And more importantly, as journalists, a life insurance is important for you. Make sure your media organization is insured you, and you can also try to get a life insurance for your own safety. Is very, very important.
World Press Freedom Day acts as a reminder to governments of the need to respect their commitment to press freedom, and is also a time of reflection among media professionals about issues of press freedom and professional ethics.
Concerning concerning the freedom of information, it is freedom of information and ethics of the profession. It's important for journalists to first and foremost understand what these freedoms that they are guaranteed in the constitution and generally what they are, and know how to insist on them. They also need to have the ethics of the profession. It's unfortunate that the ethics has been there, but not many journalists are abiding by it. The ethics is supposed to guide the things that we do, the best practice, and ensure that we also don't end up violating other people's rights in the discharge of our duty. So my advice is that journalists need to know the provisions of the constitution. They need to know the rights, because with every freedom comes with responsibility, and it's important that we ensure that we do this.
Yeah, for ethics of the profession, yes, surely. As a journalist, you know that you have to say the truth at all time, and also ensure that you show the gratifications. Because if you don't do that, it's going to erode your credibility as a journalist.
Just as importantly, World Press Freedom Day is a day of support for media, which are targets for the restraint or abolition of press freedom. At the core of UNESCO's mandate is freedom of the press and freedom of expression. UNESCO believes that these freedoms allow for mutual understanding to build a sustainable peace. For High Impact Television, I'm Esther Kalu.